Welcome.
Audio.
Story.
Lady Un, the Urban Legendary Experience by Miss Capri. Lady Un is an anime character from the Gundam series, which I got exposed to in stumbling into anime fandom via an eval group I mistook for creative writing. I dislike her love interest who died in the series, and their fandom. I detest all fandoms anyway. So to counter their gushing over these characters, I thought I'd give them a little Urban Legendary Experience, since I also mangle memes. Here goes. Lady Un was supposed to be in charge of 2 children. One of them was Mariemaia, daughter of Un's boyfriend, boss, well, whatever, it's complicated. His name was, get this, Treize. Sheesh, what a sissy name. Not quite as abominably so as Anakin, that one wins first prize for girly. Treize is the word for 13 in French, so should be pronounced Treize. But anime doesn't care about that kind of stuff. The characters pronounced her name Mariemaia, but her name is spelled M-A-R-I-E. M-A-I-A. Treize got that daughter Mariemaia by knocking some poor girl up when he was just 17. And to think Lady Un, among others, wanted him. That wasn't the only thing wrong with him. His picture should be included in the dictionary definitions of arrogant and hubris. He actually thought himself superior to God, and that makes him totally suck. Just listen to this pile of I'm better than God and I want to rule everybody slop.
The word rule is commonly associated with oppression and arrogant actions. I look at it as a way of governing to keep people's unnecessary ambitions under control. God let people run free. People need to be ruled, and that can only be done if there's a system of rule and control that surpasses that of God's, since God lets them do what they want. I'm sure God would understand the steps we're taking.
Absolutely right. Yes, God would understand.
I can understand Lady Un going for him, but anyone else with a functioning brain, oh come on! The other child in Un's care was a neighbor's baby. Un got bored and lonely. She decided to cook supper and invite her master, keeper. The object of her obsession, Treize. Scrap that pretentious killer to say or type. Irritating, horribly long last name of his over.
This is Treize Khushrenada. Murdered Tubarov.
Because that was his sick hobby, killing and domination. No wonder Treize and Lady Un got along so well. So, Lady Un had invited Treize to dinner and had to wait while he took his sweet time getting there because he fancied himself the great Treize, believing the universe revolved around him. He expected people to wait for him, and wait on him. While Un waited for Treize to arrive, she touched up her hair, put on more makeup, and of course, her infamous personality indication glasses. She sent Mariemaia down to the basement to watch TV while waiting for Treize to arrive. After about 5 minutes of waiting, the phone rang. Un was relieved it was not Treize calling to cancel like he had done the last time. It was the mother of the baby Un was looking after for the evening. Un informed her that all was well.
I'm just having my boyfriend over for dinner. The turkey is in the oven and the baby's asleep.
Turkey? What turkey?
When Treize arrived, Un was all over him like a cheap suit.
Mr. Treize! Oh, Mr. Treize, sir!
Mr. Treize? Oh, Mr. Treize, sir. Mr. Treize! Oh, Mr. Treize, sir!
Pathetic. The general discomfort of the situation was made far worse by body odor from them both. This was because Un and Treize had stopped using deodorant. Most on the market also contained antiperspirant, which Treize had been told caused cancer by clogging up the sweat glands, preventing toxins from escaping the body. Un wanted to get close, but Treize only wanted that when it was convenient for him. So he used the deodorant myth and the body odor it caused as a means to prevent bodily contact whenever he wanted her to back off. Apparently they could smell each other's stench, but not their own. Dinner wasn't ready yet, so they sat stinking up the front room. Sheesh, the parents who left their poor child with them must not have had a sense of smell. Once Treize managed to pry Un loose, he watched her for a moment as she sat beside him, still spazzing out. Eventually, Un settled down, and that was when Treize told her that he was ditching her. What else was new? For Treize, this was routine.
Lady Un, there comes a time in everyone's life when they need to walk their own path and leave all things irrelevant behind, moving on to bigger and better things. What you and I had was fun and useful in its time. But it's over now. I still have a lot of conquering to do, and there just isn't room in my life for a child or a love affair. I'll stay for dinner, but after that, it's goodbye, Lady Un.
No, please, Mr. Treize. I need you. I want you. I love you. I'm the only one who understands and loves you. And you're the only one who loves me. You know you do. I'll do anything for you. Just don't leave me. I'll do anything. Make speeches. Cook for you. Do your laundry. Kiss your feet. Oh, Treize, my love for you knows no limits. I told you I'm doing me too, and I will. You see, Mr. Treize, I will. Right now. I'll do this for you. And only...
Lady Un did exactly that. Fall to the floor and kiss Treize's feet. Sheesh, what a clingy and possessive drip, as if he was worth all that. Yeah, right. Treize was so in love with himself and flattered that once again he had some poor sap after him that he gave in for a moment.
You and Zax are the only ones who ever understood me, Un. But I'm leaving, for bigger and better things. Now how about giving me some supper?
What a narcissist! Un sprang to her feet. This was one more opportunity to please Treize, and with each opportunity, perhaps she could make him forget this backing off idea.
Yes, Mr. Treize. Yes, I'll go right now, sir.
With that, she flew into the kitchen. But as she did, she saw the table all laid out, complete with 2 glasses of wine. Unthought of getting him drunk, she would have to spike it with something. But as her fevered mind raced desperately from one idea to another, she got a particularly sinister idea. Yes, it would have to work. How could Treize not be indebted to her as his heroine after tonight? It wasn't long before dinner was ready, and Un and Treize sat down to dine. Un suggested they start off with a drink, while the piping hot supper cooled enough to eat. Treize agreed and took several sips of the wine. That was the last thing he remembered. The next thing he knew, he woke up completely naked in a bathtub filled with ice. He was still feeling the effects of the drugs, but looked around to see. He was alone. He looked down at his chest, which had
"Call 911 or you will die!"
written in lipstick. He saw a phone was on a stand next to the tub, so he picked it up and dialed. He explained to the EMS operator that he was in some kind of trouble but didn't know where he was, what he took, or why he was really calling. The EMS operator told him to check his back. He did, only to find 2 9-inch slits on his lower back. They sent a rescue team over. Apparently, after being examined, he found out more of what had happened. His kidneys were stolen. They were worth $10,000 each on the black market. Lady Un tried to get the hospital to give him one of her kidneys, but they refused after running some tests. Her kidney was not a match and would be useless to him, maybe even deadly. That was when Lady Un broke down, blathering something about it all being worth nothing since she was sure never to get him back now. It eventually came out that Lady Un was behind that whole plan. She put Treize in an emergency, trying to set it up so that she would be the one to save him and restore him to a normal life. Then surely he would feel he owed her and loved her too much to leave. As for the neighbor whose baby Un had sat that night, imagine the horror when it was discovered that their baby was gone. Sitting in the crib, a raw turkey. The culprit? Lady Un and her stupid multiple personality.
No, yes, kind of feel her face.
The personality she was in at the time she cooked the turkey was too out of touch with reality to distinguish the difference between a turkey and a baby.
Oh, Papa tain't sugar.
Lady No in a bank sharp. To this day, the distraught mother still refuses to stop searching for her child. She believes it is still alive somewhere. As for Treize, he was hospitalized next door to a man who died of flatulence, and it was contagious. Just Treize didn't die of flatulence, but he nearly killed his soldiers with it when he went back to fighting. Eventually, he was killed off in the series by an enemy. Good riddance to Mr. Stinky, who thought he was better than God. Mariemaia, Treize's daughter, had sickened from eating a Costa Rican banana that was infected with necrotizing fasciitis, otherwise known as flesh-eating bacteria. She came down with a fever followed by a very painful skin infection that, if not treated in time, could eat 2 to 3 centimeters of flesh per hour. Mariemaia was luckier than most afflicted with this, since the treatment was aggressive enough and in time to prevent the infection from requiring amputation or resulting in the poor child's death. The warning here is to boycott bananas, especially if they come from Costa Rica. After Mariemaia's bout with the flesh-eating disease, from which she fully recovered, she begged Lady Un to take her to a movie. Lady Un agreed, but they would have to eat lunch first. Tired of cooking, Un took Mariemaia out to a fast food place. Mariemaia had battered fried chicken strips, and Lady Un had a burger with lots of mayonnaise. Lady Un didn't think it tasted right, but perhaps one of her personalities didn't like mayo and it slipped her minds. Later, at the theater, Lady Un was not feeling at all well, and Mariemaia complained of a pain in her backside. When it grew worse, they left the theater and Un examined her. There seemed to be a splinter, but Un couldn't get it out, so she took Mariemaia to the Valley Children's Hospital. By the time they arrived, Mariemaia was vomiting and shaking, her eyes rolled back into her head. Lady Un was in nearly as bad a state. It turned out that the welt on Mariemaia's buttock was the tip of a hypodermic needle that had broken off inside. When the needle was removed, it was found to be contaminated with a parasite that causes osteoporosis, a rare liver disease. The only treatment, not a cure, was a drug called Progesterex, which was very expensive and still in the experimentation stages. The chicken Mariemaia had eaten had turned out to be not chicken at all, but rat meat. Lady Un's problem was a flu-like illness brought on by contaminated food from the restaurant. Upon thorough examination of her stomach contents, it was discovered that the mayonnaise turned out to be pus from a ruptured tumor of a cow. When that restaurant was inspected, there were many major health hazards found, by way of food contamination. Deer and mouse droppings that tested positive for hantavirus were found in a container of chocolate chips, lice among the rice, and mad cow or BSE-infected meat. Lady Un was fortunate she had not been infected with BSE, however. And the restaurant was shut down. Lady Un recovered quickly and was released within 2 days, but Mariemaia's condition worsened, though Lady Un visited her every day, hoping against hope she would recover soon. At the hospital, Lady Un and Mariemaia met Jessica, my deck. She was the same age as Mariemaia. Sadly, Jessica was dying of cancer that was caused by shampoo and toothpaste. Her family were trying to save her life by passing on chain letters. Un thought this was a great idea, so she followed suit. Un's pleas to save Mariemaia were circulated on the internet. They went like this. From
Lady Un.
Subject.
Will be heartless and delete this letter. Please read. To all who care and love children.
My name is Lady Un. My 7-year-old stepdaughter Mariemaia has severe achewepsibosis of the liver. Her liver is extremely inflamed. Modern science is yet to find a cure. Valley Children's Hospital has agreed to donate 7 cents to the National Disaster Society for every name on this list. Please send around as much as you can. If you do not pass on this love, Mariemaia will not get the money she needs to save her life. This poor innocent little child may not live to see Beth's birth and graduate from high school, or get married and have children of her own. Please, please don't deny her a chance at life. She is in agony every day. This is a very slow and horrible death. But it might be prevented if a cure or treatment is found, and for that donations are desperately needed. For the love of little children and Mr. Treize Khushrenada, please give little Mariemaia a chance. The chance all children deserve. She wants a chance at life. Hurry and sign his letter and pass it in to his lady be for the children. For those of you who don't take 5 minutes to do this, what goes around comes around. And one day you will get what you deserve. First, what? You can help sick people, and it costs you nothing. Yet, you are too lazy and selfish to spare a little time for this child? If you do not pass this step, and she dies, it will be because you were too heartless to care and pass on this letter. Just think how you would feel if it was you or your own child in this situation. Wouldn't you want people taking just moments of their time to help you? Lady Un.
With Mariemaia in the hospital, Un got lonely and bought a pet cat. She was not really an animal lover, but she absolutely needed something around to dominate, and anyway, she thought that being seen with a pet would boost her image in the public eye. I named her cat Mr. Treize, and she spent a lot of time grooming and bathing him. One day she decided to speed up the drying process. Toweling him off took too long, and he shivered and squirmed his way free most of the time. In order to cut down the effort involved, Un put the cat in the electric oven to dry. At least this time she didn't mistake it for turkey. Do you see a pattern here, though? One day, she decided to speed the process up even more by drying him in the microwave. There really was no meow nor any noise at all from the cat, for the poor creature exploded the instant the oven was switched on. If that wasn't stupid enough, Lady Un sued the company, which made the microwave, for some obscene amount of money, and won, because there was no warning label on the microwave oven saying it was not meant to be used as a kitty hairdryer. Next, Lady Un bought a bonsai kitten that was especially molded to look like Treize, and she named it Mr. Treize. She also rescued a cute little bunny rabbit she named Toby. Un took Toby in and fattened him up with lots of hay and carrots and rabbit pellets with extra hormones, because everybody knows rabbit food is loaded with hormones. Un went vegan herself, suddenly taking an interest in animal rights because she had been no hero to humanity so far. However, with all of her donations to PETA and Greenpeace and other animal rights organizations and efforts raiding homes of their animals because she believed every sob story about animal abuse that never happened, plus the progesterex needed to keep Mariemaia comfortable, Un was starting to go broke and become desperate. She got a little money from PETA, but it was just enough to cover the cost of making the orange vests they put on deer so hunters wouldn't shoot them. She couldn't part with her Treize kitty, so it was Toby who would have to go. Un put up a website that told Toby's sad, sad story.
Little Toby Bunny was rescued by me. From the wild. I found him outside in the wet, cold, dark, damp, scrawny, and bony, and half starving to death because of no food. Little Toby Bunny means so much to me, and my heart is breaking. What I must do is so unfair to this innocent little Toby, who did nothing to deserve such a fate. Treize's daughter, who I'm taking care of, is still sick and in need of treatment I cannot afford. If I don't receive funding for her care by the next holiday, $50,000 to save Toby, I will make rabbit stew and eat him.
No one really knows what became of the rabbit, but some sources claim he was eaten by the cat. Mariemaia made friends with Amy Bruce, who got tumors from beatings, and her family was also trying to save her by passing on chainmail. But eventually, the tumors took over too many vital organs, so Amy had to go on IV and life support. One night, she was in the hospital room all alone when a janitor came in to clean. Finding no spare outlets, he unplugged Amy's life support so he could vacuum. He couldn't hear Amy's cries for help because the vacuum was so loud. Amy Bruce died that night. But Mariemaia recovered. Treize spent as much time in the hospital, recovering from his nearly fatal case of flatulence, which had also caused corrosive lung and throat damage to some of the hospital staff who had to take care of him. They had to resort to wearing gas masks when near him or working in his room. He was put in detox, and once he stopped stinking, just enough to not be a health hazard to the rest of society, he was sent back home. So, to celebrate Treize and Mariemaia's recoveries, Treize threw a party at his mansion. He decided it would be a combination masquerade and pool party, so people were to bring bathing suits, costumes, or both, depending on if they wanted to dress up, bathe, or both. But Lady Un still wanted Treize all to herself, and she knew there would be other women at the party, so she pretended to be sick and told Treize she couldn't make it. Back at home, she put on a costume determined to spy on him. At the party, she spotted him, and was delighted he didn't seem to be with anyone else, so she decided to make her moves. While Lady Un was preoccupied with Treize, something else was happening to one of the guests. This man had too much to drink, and was now in serious need of, getting rid of some of this excess liquid. Unfortunately, there was a line at the restroom with the same problem apparently afflicting many other party guests. He went back out to the pool and slipped in quietly. What was the harm? No one would know what he did. Or would they? It wasn't long before he was aware of everybody looking at him. He didn't realize why at first, but a glance down gave him the answer. Right around him, the water had turned bright red. It was a special substance Treize had purchased that went in invisible, but would turn red when in contact with urine. A few minutes of embarrassment, the guy scrambled out of the pool as quickly as possible and was later escorted out of the party once he changed into some dry clothes. Apart from that little disturbance, everything seemed to be going well. Treize didn't appear ruffled by the incident at all, and laughed with him at the poor guy's expense, and together they really had a time of it. He seemed quite receptive to Un's affections now, and for a time they snuck off to enjoy each other's company in private. However, the next day, Treize called Lady Un.
Hello, Lady Un. How are you this morning? Did you get over your headache or flu or whatever it was?
Wow, what a condescending jerk. Lady Un didn't catch that. She was thrilled that he called.
Yes, Sister Treize. Oh, yes.
That's good. I am as well. The party was okay, except some idiot had the nerve to pee in the pool.
No, really.
Yes, really.
Well, that was rude. So, meet anyone interesting?
No.
Lady Un didn't know whether to be insulted that Treize hadn't found her attractive or relieved he hadn't, since he couldn't have known it was her. Treize continued.
But my cousin, who went dressed as me, we went as each other, he said he had the wildest time with a really hot chick he met there.
And here he described what the girl had been wearing. It was Un's costume.
Uh-oh.
Oh. Well, good for him. Look, Mr. Treize, I really should go. Your kid just spilled my tea and I have to clean it up.
Lady Un ending a call with Treize? A complete reversal from the usual, where she called Treize and he had always ended the conversation. But Un was dying of embarrassment at this point. So she lost her boyfriend, her pets, and her dignity. But at least Lady Un still had one thing going for her. Her big hairstyle. Lady Un was proud of that hair of hers, often styling it in enormous braided buns. She would slick it up instead of redoing it, using lots of hairspray to keep strands from poking out and making it look messy. Un had stopped using shampoo anyway, since learning from the doctors and the Midic family that shampoo contained sodium lauryl sulfate, aka SLS. This extremely strong substance was, after all, used to scrub garage floors and cause cancer when used on the body or ingested in the form of toothpaste. Therefore, Un also stopped brushing her teeth. One morning, she awoke with a few thin threads in her face. Without thinking, she brushed them aside and began her day. Of course, Un's morning began with her bulletproof bun, but as she touched it up, she noticed something strange. Un couldn't believe what she saw.
Spiders!
At some point during her last hairstyle's long life,
Baby black widow spiders!
a spider's egg sac had been laid within it and hatched overnight. Frantically, she raked through her hairdo. But this only revealed more spiders!
Spiders! Go away! Leave me alone!
Hysterical, Un grabbed the scissors and chopped off her hair. No matter what she did, more black widows spilled from her head.
Help! Get these spiders out of here!
Mad with horror, she finally snapped.
Oh, spiders, 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 spiders. Pop, 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 pop.
Today and in the foreseeable future, she is institutionalized, her mind still infested with visions of spiders in her head. As for Mariemaia, she was placed in foster care, but her foster mother and 6 other women died after receiving poisoned perfume samples in the mail. One of the packages was sent to the institution where Lady Un resides, and though it was presumably meant for Lady Un, a female staff member opened it instead. The connection to Lady Un and Mariemaia is cause for suspicion that Treize Khushrenada sent the samples, mad as heck that Lady Un could actually survive without him, and that she had yanked out one of his kidneys. Treize Khushrenada was also highly suspected because he was, after all, the founder of the terrorist Oz organization.
Some facts.
Every little story in this is a hoax. There are no flesh-eating bananas, bonsai kittens, pee detection, pool dye, and Save Toby was just a stupid prank. No one ever tried to dry their pet in a microwave. Rabbit food does not contain any extra hormones. The real issue is how it compares for nutrition with pellet foods for other small animals such as guinea pigs and chinchillas. Nutrition varies even in pet food marketed for one species. Deodorant, shampoo, and toothpaste do not cause cancer. There was no Jessica Meidick or Amy Bruce dying because of tumors caused by beatings and secondhand smoke. No janitor ever unplugged a patient's life support to clean a hospital room. No baby was ever mistaken for a turkey. No restaurant ever served infected cow tumors or rat meat. No needles were ever planted in theater seats. Flatulence hasn't killed anyone. It only made people around the farter wish they were dead. Black widow spiders don't hatch after one night and don't make webs in human hair. They prefer living in places that are quiet with as little disturbance as possible. 7 women did not die of any poison perfume samples in their mail. If they had, as Truth or Fiction says, it would have been all over the real news and not just passed around in chain letters on the net. It would have been extremely difficult, if not impossible, to cover up if it really happened. Neither has anyone been drugged by perfume samples in parking lots. The kidney theft never really happened either, despite all the silly scare stories about it that have been passed around. True, a guy did lose his kidney, but that's just half of it. The whole truth is that he lost it because he chose to. The guy sold his own kidney, then covered up his illegal act by claiming he had been mugged and had it stolen. The tub of ice is not necessary for organ removal. It's only the organ itself that needs to be kept on ice, not the person it comes from. Outside of a hospital, this sort of surgery is next to impossible anyway, and hospitals keep records of every donor and recipient. The animal rights group PETA has done some crazy and often incredibly tasteless things, but putting orange vests on deer is not one of them. There is no organization called the Disease SIC Society, no such disease as osteoporosis, and no such drug as Progesterex. The names were fabricated to sound real, but they're pure fiction. So I took some liberties. In the original hoax about Progesterex, it's supposed to be a drug that makes women sterile. Permanently. But since that scenario didn't fit anywhere in this story, I put it in as the treatment for the dreaded osteoporosis. Well, why not? It's a fictional drug after all. One version of the osteoporosis hoax also named a fictional character from a book as the afflicted. Another version, unfortunately, names a real person who is in good health but suffering unwanted attention because some malicious person, probably a schoolmate, perpetuated the hoax in his name. This story was inspired by and is dedicated to Lady Fangirl, Senna Marie, Jenny Coe, Nahid Layla, Maxwell, etc., and whatever other aliases she uses, and her dang of trolls. She is the biggest Lady butt-kissing otaku whose sadistic online bullying / harassment / stalking and otherwise profoundly desperate attention-seeking trolling stupid behavior and all-out bad seed and Mary Sue personality. The story is also dedicated to the person Senna bullied to give her a laugh at that wacko Lady Un's expense.